So back with another edition of the Writer Series, and today I'm going to talk about something that's a little bit of a pain. Well, it's a lot of a pain, but it's necessary, and that's editing. That's coming up next. So on this edition of the Writer Series, I'm going to talk about something that really is so tedious, it is mind-numbing, and yet it's so important, and that's editing. And it's important that you do multiple rounds of edits for your novel to get it as tight as you can get it before you send it off to either your beta readers, or you send it off to a literary agent, or you send it off to a publishing house. It's important that you do multiple edits. I'll tell you right now, there's a book that I'm working on right now, and when I stopped the initial draft, I was just at 90,000 words, literally. I've been editing for about 60 pages and I've already trimmed 7,000 words. And so it's really important that you think about where you are in terms of your editing, because it's really important, because a lot of times you put a lot of fluff in there and then you go back and you read it and you're like, man, why did I put that in there? And that's what the editing process is for. And take your time at it. Don't start skimming when you're editing. Take your time. Take a couple bites at the apple here and there. Don't try to knock it out all in one day. Be patient. Make sure your energy level is up. Make sure your energy level is at a good point when you're editing. If you start to think that your attention is waning a little bit, then just hit the pause button. Go do something else. Take a break from it and then come back to it later. Maybe you come back to it in an hour. Maybe you come back to it in a day or 2 days. But take a little bit of a mental break and then come back to it with a fresh perspective. It's important to keep that fresh perspective when you're editing, because if you don't have that fresh perspective, you'll miss things that you missed in the first place. And that's going to just set you behind, and it's going to force you to have to do even more work the next time you edit it. But right now I'm going through this first edit, and it's actually going pretty well. I'm really liking where the story is. I like the first 50 some pages. I thought really got off to a very strong start. So I was very happy about that. But I also saw a lot of fat that needed to be trimmed from this particular novel. And so I was really glad to see that, and I was able to go through, and I also did some talk to type sections that needed some significant editing. So that's another reason I'm glad that I went through and did this edit. But look, editing is not really fun. It's can be frustrating sometimes. It can be mind-numbing. You want to be out there. You want to be creative. And editing is something where you're not going to get as much of an opportunity to be creative, but you're going to do some very important work that's going to help shape your novel for the better. So make sure you grind it out with your editing. Take your breaks when you need it, but stay focused. Keep your eyes on the prize toward editing and finishing that great draft of your novel.